Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the third part of my series .NET application development. So far I have just designed. I just have the view. We are following the MVC pattern. Right now we just have view, which has a login and the media screen. But we also need controller and a model. Controller holds all the business operation, whereas the model holds all the database like data sets and all that. So view is just for displaying the integrated data from um, controller and model. So I will with in this project I will add another uh, project. Needs to be a class library. I'll give it a name as controller. I will add another project, an existing project. This also needs to be a class library, and this is our model. So now we have view, controller and model. So in model, we need data set. So I will add new item, and it's need to be a data set. Can give it any name, guys. So I'll give it a media data set. So now this is my media data set, and I will drag one table from my database connection. So tables. Right now I just need tab user, because in this video I will just work on validating user from database. It's taking a while to load. Be patient, guys. Okay, yes. So now we have our tab user. So inside model, we have app.config, which holds our database information. So the warning was for that it holds our database information and will be visible. I ignored that warning. I'm gonna add one method here. Query next, select residence row next. So for here you can use the query builder to write the query. So for our we need username and password. You can use the query builder to write your query, or else you can type it here manually. So I will just copy and paste that. I have already typed here, so I'll just copy and paste. You guys can also copy and paste the same query, it doesn't matter. So I will just paste it here, and I will hit next. So we don't need the data table to return anything. We just need username and password. So we can give it as validate user. Finish. Perfect. You can see a node will be created here with validate user. So this method we are going to call this method in our controller here. So let me go ahead and do that quickly. We need one class. We need first we need interface. So interface, let me give it a proper name. user validation, user validation. I'll just delete this class which was created automatically. Don't need this class. I will create another class here. So this is our interface, and this class will be our implementation of that interface. So let me give it a name, user. This will be our implement. So follow the same naming convention, user validation, validation implementation. Okay, so right now I just have user validation and user validation implementation. I'm not touching the media part right here, guys. I'll do that in my later video. So I'll first make this interface public. I'll have one method with a data type bool, user validation. I'll pass in string user name. Make a note, guys. I'm following the proper C# naming convention. For any of our method, the method name needs to be start with capital letters, and for any of our parameters, in here, like here, is username and the first letter is small. So this is a camel casing naming convention. Make sure you guys also follow the same. So next is also string password. Close this. So this is our user validation implementation. So this class will implement user validation. So it's giving a red error here. We can simply go ahead and implement interface. Now you can see the red is gone, and we can see the user validation method with parameters username and password which we created here is implemented here. So our logic, all the logic will go here, and later we will call this method in our view inside the login button. So let's get started implementing the real login user validation code. So this needs to return something, but I erased the return path, so it's showing error. Don't worry about that, guys. So first we also need to make this class as public. So we first declare a variable to false. So it's a bool is user valid to false, and we will implement our logic in a try catch block. So this is a try, and this will be our catch, try catch exception t. So this will catch all the errors. So we're going to simply print it in a console. Console dot write line. We're gonna print the error message here, error message equals to plus e dot message. So this is the error message. We're gonna implement our code in the try block. So first we need object of data table and table adapter. That means if we go to our data set, we can see a tab user table and a tab user table adapter. So we need to create the object of these two in the user validation implementation part. So for that, we gonna just type tab user data table equals this will be our data table. Let's be very specific. So this will be our user data table equals to new tab user data table. So it's throwing an error here, so we can simply fix that with this well valve. We can simply use the static model media data set. So you can see the new line is added. So this the using line is added here. So now error is gone here. Don't worry about this error, it will be fixed later on. So we also need the object of table adapter. So for that we can just simply type in tab user table adapter, and this will be our user table adapter equals to new tab user table adapter. So it's also throwing an error. We can simply fix this as I showed in just the line before. You can use the using, and you can see the new line is added here. So this error is also fixed. Now that we have the object of use tab use data table and table adapter, we can use this to get and fill the data from the data set. So we can just simply type in the empty we created. This is the empty data table we created to get all the data from the user table adapter. So we can simply type in user data table dot. Now we're gonna call the method which we created in our data set. If I show you that, then that is this one, validate user. We're gonna call the validate user right here. So if we type in validate user, I just forget to add the reference from model to controller, so it's not showing up. I think so, might be another problem because the reference is already added. Let me go ahead and check that. It references. So from model the reference is already there. Something is wrong here, so let me do that again. User data table dot validate I think it's validate user. If you see any fixes here, nope, Let me fix this quickly. So I found the issue, guys. The issue was that I used the data table, but that's the empty data table which is used just to fill up the data. But we need to use the table adapter which we created here. So now I think we can call the validate user. Yeah, we, we successfully call that validate user. Now inside parentheses we need to pass the empty data table we created here and the username and password. Please note that the username and password I copied and paste here needs to be in same. You cannot type the password here and the username here. uh, this will throw you an error at the runtime. So make sure this is correct, guys. So now we need to check if the user exists or not. So we can do that simply by using if statement. We can simply now our data table, user data table holds the value. We can check it from here. If it returns any row count, so we can just check it like this. We can use count if it's greater than 0. Oops. If it's greater than 0, that means the user exists. So we can simply change the state of is user valid to true, else user does not exist, else is user valid to false. And that's it. So this is our try block, this is our catch block, and we checked here, we printed the error message, and this needs to be return each user valid. So that's it for the business logic.